Here's the disclaimer. This is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are risky. Do your due diligence and invest at your own risk. You can lose money. Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jay. It is July 13th, 2017. And today's lesson is really about how your ego can help or hurt you when it comes to trading. And this is going to be a lesson in ego for anybody that's watching. First, the company is Chaincoin, sticker CHC. And I'm bringing this to you and showing you this because my ego, a couple people that I watch on the YouTube space, they were talking about this probably a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and I don't typically like these individuals, not them as a personal level. It's not personal. It's just I don't believe that a person should go into an investment with emotions involved. I believe you should really look at it and say, hey, okay, what's the value prop? And be able to make your decisions based off of if there's value in the company, then great. All right, so go ahead and trade on value, don't trade on emotions. So Chaincoin, saw it. I saw a couple of them talking about it and just basically, oh, it's going to go to 100, it's going to 100, and really pumping the hell out of it. And I let my ego not get me involved at 99 cents. And then, of course, it's made, as you see here, it's made this tear up. And today, this morning, I got up and I looked at it and I was just like, it was at $1 and then it was at $2 and now it's up to over $3. And I finally decided to go ahead and do the charts on it, because the first rule that I put to myself before I got into trading cryptocurrencies, the first rule I gave myself was, unless I do a chart, I will not invest into anything. So my ego kept me from doing the charts on it, and I was getting ready to pull the trigger and say, okay, well, what if it goes up another $1 or so, or even $2, and I don't get into it. But I sat down and said, let me go ahead and do the fundamentals first. So now as I'm doing the fundamentals, if you're looking at what I see here, would this be something you would jump into? When something goes, like, look at this. Let's scroll it down and look at where it was and look at where it is. Am I going to trade this? I could be wrong. Like, please take this with as much, take this with a grain of salt as to who I am as an investor. You know, I'm new into this space. There's a lot of new people in this space, and there's a lot of people who have traded a hell of a lot longer than me. The news on it, yes, they've done some great things. You know, the idea of what Chaincoin is, the fact that you could have distributed power being used for things like rendering and scientific algorithms. So if I wanted to write an AI system, that if I needed, if I wanted to be able to have high processing usage, and somebody could rent it out to, say, rather than me going to, say, Amazon Web Services, to be able to utilize that as a way to do rendering, or as a way to do, if I wanted to have AI do some equations on the back end, rather than paying this central repository to do so, I could have this company do it. That by itself is something that is intriguing to me. Like, that is extremely intriguing to me. But as I look at the numbers, as I look at the trade, I have to ask myself a serious question. Is my trade going to be on FOMO, fear of missing out? You know, So before I made the trade, I said, let me look at my monthly. So as the monthly levels, let me go to my month. So I started at the month level, and you see, here's my purple for a month. All right, so this is basically where it is at the month, and you see this huge gap. Like, look at it. Look at the surge in the 1 month numbers. Look where it was, where the market was comfortable with it at, and then look at the skyrocket. Okay, then let's drop down to the week. So now as you get into the week, again, look at the surge. Our month level is here. Here's our weekly number in blue. So this is basically where it had a little bit of some type of a support, and of course it broke through 2 lines on my days. So now if we go to the days, the hours. So if we go to the hours, and I'll set it to 4 because it's not a lot of time. So now if you look at the hourly, we've got some support here. We've got a little bit of a support there. And while this could kind of be considered some support there, if I look at this, it's broken through the month number a couple times. Right now on today, which is the 13th, you see it's kissing that, it's kissing it. Let's even go zoom in a little closer. You can see it's not really touching, and it could bounce and say, hey, you know what, we're gonna bounce right off this ceiling, but you can see it's kind of gotten to that ceiling a few times and just kind of pulled back down. So while there's news, while the technology is something that I'm intrigued about, because I trade on value, I don't trade on emotion. I can't trade on emotion. Well, I look at this and I say, okay, I think I can get in. I think it's still a value deal, but it does not have the length of time necessary for me of a supporting structure to say I'm gonna go up. Like, this to me has more support than this. This will be a support, but for now, it played in this zone a heck of a lot more. I would get back in here. So I'm going to go ahead and have my triggers go back probably in this zone. And probably I'll have some triggers for if there's a flash drop where people are cashing out, be able to pick up some down here, but I won't do it. I will not pull the trigger right now. And again, guys, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong on this. This is why I say you can't trade with emotion. You have to trade on value. And as we speak, I can't trade on this because I feel like this is not the levels it should be. There's really no news that tells me, okay, well, this is something that should be bought. So I'm gonna keep this one really short, but I wanted to tell you, don't let your emotions be your detriment. Don't let your ego. If I had gotten in at the 99-cent level, I'd have been okay with the trade, bought a few shares of it. If it, when and if it jumped up, I would have bought, sold off a little bit of my position and kept it moving and felt okay about that. But at this level, I can't do it. I just can't. And I'll keep watching this. It'll be on the watch list now. But if you see people up there pumping stuff and and they're saying, oh, it's going to 100, it's going to 100, why? What are they fundamentally done recently that puts it as a value prop of that? Ask yourself those questions. Really start looking at the news from the company and seeing what they put out as far as their, follow their Twitter, see what they're saying. Who's the CEO? What are they doing? So I'm going to do more due diligence on this one, but I just can't pull that. I can't pull the trigger. And like I said, I could be wrong, guys, but I can't pull the trigger right now. I feel like I've already missed it. I'm probably wrong, but I feel like I already missed it, and I'm not going to make a trade on that. I don't care if it does go to 100. The fact that I'm now looking at this and saying, okay, I don't see a reason to get in at this price, I'm going to stick with that. And that's the real lesson to who you are as a trader, is that it's okay to miss it, but miss it for the right reasons. Don't miss it because you watch a few people and you kept yourself out of the trade because they're a part of the trade. The trade follows the herd, and if there's a herd mind pushing the numbers up, the herd is going to push it up. But I don't want you to be a part of a herd mentality. I want you to be an educated investor. And while this is not me giving you investment advice, it's me telling you to be cautious, because at the end of the day, all of this is speculation. All of it is. So please be safe with your money, because you worked hard for it. And this is not get rich. This is trading into fundamental technologies that you feel are going to be around in the next 5 to 10 years. We have an opportunity right now to trade on valuable companies that will be the infrastructure for what we see the revolution that's happening. Artificial intelligence is taking over. So any artificial intelligence plays, or things that can be the underlying position in that technology, that's not a bad thing. But I'm not going to rush to get into a trade just because my ego is bruised and says, hey, you missed this when it was 99 cents to the US dollar. Now it's $3 and change to the US dollar. Like I said, you never chase after a stock, never chase after a property, ever. And when you do that, that's when you're going to be hurting yourself financially, because you're always going to be running after it rather than being able to capitalize on movement. So I say this to say that TrajicK Hustle, we're going to go into development mode. I'll still be doing the videos as much as I can, but I don't want to miss things like this again. It's a lesson to say that I need to build a better way to kind of see where the chatter is. As a developer, I look at opportunities to develop something. So one of the things I'm going to be doing on TrajicK Hustle is we're now going to be in development cycle to grow our visibility on chatter and be able to capitalize on chatter, and be able to present that to you, anybody that's watching us. So we want to be able to help not only ourselves, but we want to help you out, make the best decisions as to what you might want to do, or maybe you don't want to do it. But we want to help as much as we can, and at least I don't want to see anybody just throwing their money and throwing it at a wall and seeing what sticks. Throwing money at a problem doesn't fix a problem, right? And that we're in a new era where we all have a stake in seeing the success or failure of companies that could potentially be the underpinnings of self-driving cars, of smart grids, where they put the technology in street lights, and they put the technology in navigation, they put the technology in sales. So I just want y'all to be safe out here. I'm gonna end this video now, but don't chase and don't let your ego get in front of the trade. This is Jay for TrajicK Hustle, and this has been Market Plunder episode 3. Don't let your ego get in front of a trade.